Okay, well, first of all, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. You are sitting in front of an amazing crowd of individuals that really think pretty much nothing else but how to provide services to you and your folks, your airmen, your soldiers, and of course the random Marine that strays by, and of course a few of the Navy folks at NOSC that you have as well. You know, we have over the years had lots of conversations with your counterparts that have been in your positions previously. We've covered lots of different subjects. We have discussed readiness and how the community can provide support for you all in the efforts that you have. And we know that our nation is actively engaged right now, so we thank you for taking the time to be able to speak to us today. Thank you. All right. So I invite each of you to just briefly introduce yourself and your name, rank, and serial number, if you will. And and then we'll start getting into some of the questions.
Okay, sounds good. Good morning, everyone. I'm Brigadier General Dave Berkland. I'm the 56th Fighter Wing Commander out at Luke Air Force Base. Not going to tell you my serial number or my credit card number, Thomas. And I'll pass it over to my good friend, General Conley.
I thought that would work.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm John Conley. I'm the Adjutant General for the state of Arizona. That means I'm in charge of the Arizona National Guard. I'm also the Governor's Cabinet Director for Emergency and Military Affairs.
I am Command Sergeant Major Jayson Matlock. A lot of people refer to me as eye candy. I'm the only Army guy up here, and I'm retiring. But in seriousness, I'm his battle buddy. I basically have command with his authority over the soldiers and the airmen in the state of Arizona for the National Guard.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Nate Chrestensen. I'm the Command Chief out of the 56th Fighter Wing out at Luke. So I'm General Berkland's right-hand man. I've been in the job since July of last year, and I'd heard before I moved out to Arizona, the previous Command Chief, Jay Schaefer, was telling me, you're not going to see anything like the military support from the state and the local community. And I was like, okay, you know, I've heard that. And I got here, and it was outstanding, absolutely overwhelming, the best that I've seen in 25 years. So if you take anything out of what any four of us say, just thank you from the bottom of our heart for all the support that you give.
By the way, that's an outstanding voice you got there, really.
Radio voice.
I need to hear some marching at some point out of this, right? Yeah. No, that was okay. Thank you. All right. So I guess I'll pitch the first question to you, General. You know, Luke is really special. It's very interesting. It's a special U.S. training center where allied partner nations train together as well. I know that happens with the Guard as well. But what has that taught you about trust, teamwork, partnering with people, preparing people to succeed across different systems and cultures?
Yeah, it's a great question, and Luke is special in that regard. So our mission statement out at Luke is we train the world's greatest fighter pilots and combat-ready airmen, and we've been doing that at Luke since 1941.
Nice. And
with varying degrees of allies and partners. Right now, we have a very significant presence of allies and partners at Luke. I think to answer your question, what it is, I wouldn't say taught me, but reinforced with me is the value of trust. So I was fortunate enough to go through pilot training at Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas, which is where we do our Euro-NATO joint jet pilot training.
Okay.
So it's not just U.S. Air Force pilots learning how to fly. You're alongside your NATO allies. And so I learned very early the value of that trust and that teamwork, that, you know, the synergy of that alliance really, I mean, it affects our ability to conduct combat operations across not just the joint force, but, you know, a multinational alliance. And so I learned that early on, and I see it every day at Luke. It's unbelievable. For example, yesterday I just flew an F-35. I was the instructor pilot. I was flying in a Danish airplane, Danish F-35. My student was a Dutch lieutenant learning how to fly the F-35.
Wow.
And I think he was in a U.S. airplane. So, I mean, that's just, an image of the type of partnership and the degree of trust that we have out at Luke. Very powerful. I hope that answers your question, but.
It does. No, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you. Because trust is the core of almost every relationship, right?
Yeah, you've heard the quote that, you move at the speed of trust. So you guys can all imagine in your organizations or your past experiences being a part of a team that could be very highly talented, but with a limited degree of trust, and you just don't move fast. But you've been on a team that may not be the most talented, but with a high degree of trust, man, you can really get things done quickly. So we're fortunate to have that at Luke.
That's outstanding. One follow-up question. If you do have two Dutch pilots, does that make it double Dutch?
Is that a jump rope move, or what is that?
It is, as I understand it, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't do it very often.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer. Okay. All right. Any observations, Command Chief?
I mean, I agree with it. At the end of the day, we're a people business. And it's not just going to be the U.S. uniformed service members, but just to see the interoperability, because, I mean, that's how we're going to fight a potential next conflict that we get into. We're not going to go it alone just from a U.S. perspective. So there's no difference, as General Berkland alluded to. I mean, they're family. They operate and come and go on the base, and involved. We just had an International Day last Friday where we got to get together and celebrate the cultures of all the other partner nations. And it's a very, very unique opportunity that we have here in the state of Arizona and at Luke. But there's no difference between the U.S. Military member and our foreign partners and allies.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chief. Yeah. Okay. General Conley. Ready? What's going to come out now?
I'm going to do my best not to serve you up a softball for another dad joke.
Softball. I worked hard for that. Okay. Almost everything we do with Be Connected as a community and as a state really kind of qualifies as a wicked problem. They're really difficult. They're really complex. They take some time to be able to process through strategic planning and tactical expertise. How do you go about working wicked problems?
Great question. Wicked problems are what keep you up at night. Wicked problems are what take up a lot of your bandwidth, as they should. And a lot of them are going to be, you just know they're going to be never-ending problems. You'll never get to 100% solution, but you need to do the best you can. And there's 8,300 soldiers, airmen, and civilians in the Arizona National Guard, most of them with families. So when you extrapolate that out, that's tens of thousands of people that we have to worry about and take care of. There's no way that we can do it alone. There's no way that, even with all of our commanders and senior NCOs combined, we could do it. We need y'all. That's how you get after it. We need the community to help us get after this. And we need to do it in a thoughtful, collaborative, in my opinion, evidence-based method. So, for example, one of these wicked problems is self-directed harm. Unfortunately, when I became the Adjutant General of Arizona, I had a bolus of self-directed harm in the formation. And there's a lot of great things about this job. The worst thing is having to call that family to tell them that their service member's no longer with us. So how do you get after that? Well, I took a look at the things that we were doing, and I just realized we're gonna only do things that are proven. We're gonna only spend calories and time and energy and effort on programs like you all are running that are proven. So it's gotta be evidence-based. I told my folks who are in charge of suicide prevention, bring me whatever the best programs are in the country for which you can show me that there are scientific journals that have vetted this and shown that these things work. and that's where we're going to focus our attention. So that's what we did. And there was wood up here, I'd knock on it, but we haven't had any self-directed harm in the last several months, and I'm hoping that that trend continues. But that's just one example of having to get after a wicked problem. And we didn't do this alone. We find the programs that you all are running, and we pull on you in order to get after that. And I don't see how any military organization could think that we would be able to solve these wicked problems by ourselves. It takes the whole community, because especially with the Arizona National Guard, they are members of your community. Most of them are part-time. So they're your doctors, your lawyers, your kids' teachers, the person pumping your gas at the gas station, the truck driver, delivering your packages at your front door. That's my formation. So we are the community. We need the community.
That's true. Yeah. Command Sergeant Major, same question?
Thought I was the eye candy. Yeah.
You are, but smart eye
I got the
candy.
bald head.
Yeah, well,
Just to pull that thread a little bit, yeah, obviously, it's the community, right? Is making those relationships, building those relationships, sustaining those relationships, especially as a military formation, we come and go. So it's getting the right people in the right place to communicate, to build those relationships and sustain them. One of the things we did probably 2 years ago was stand up the IROC, which is a resiliency.
Integrated Resilience Operations Center, for anybody keeping score on the acronyms up here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's correct. But anyway, we have mental health facilitators, we have financial advisors, our chaplain services are out of that same building. So those folks, if you don't know them, they should be reaching out, they should be building those relationships, so they have avenues that we may not have on post. They have avenues to go after and to get those resources and get that help. So I think it's a community-based problem. We have to drive that home, and we have to build those relationships.
Love it. Yep. Yeah, what you're hearing, there's a theme already developed, right? And this is, we're talking active duty Air Force, we're talking National Guard, which is integrated into our entire community, most of the time not recognizable because they are just, out and with us in regular everyday life. And yet, what are they saying? They're talking about you all. They're talking about the community is they're in need of this relationship, if you will, to be able to help cross support both sides. So awesome. All right. So if I can, just kind of an open question to all of you, what insights on the state of our force right now? Obviously, they're amazing. They're and we want to hear that as well. But we've gone through lots of transitions where you talked, General Conley, about that there was this bolus of self-harm, and you're past that now. Which kudos to you and your team. Colonel Chun and whatnot for being able to do that type of work, because it's not easy and it's but obviously successful. So awesome. Well, what is it that you're seeing about the welfare of folks? How are they doing? Yeah. Please.
Yeah, so I can just speak for Luke Air Force Base and our airmen and their families, and I would say that we're fortunate that they're doing great. I mean, we have a lot of airmen that are downrange right now. Many of whom were not planning on being downrange in the Middle East right now. And I'll tell you that the best sign was when they got the short notice call that they're going, they were ready to go. They were itching to go. And,
Nice.
And a big part of that, some of that is culture and some of it is the training that we put them through, and that's part of that combat ready airman part of our mission statement. But a bigger part of that is the fact that the families are ready, and the families know that they're going to be taken care of.
Wow.
And that is everything to do with the community, because when an airman gets, we don't live here forever. We come in for a couple of years on the active duty side, and then we ship out. But when an airman lands at Luke Air Force Base, they don't just join our team at Luke, they join the family that is outside the gates, because most of them live off base. And the communities in the West Valley where they live are welcoming them with open arms and treating them like family. Vic knows this. It's a very powerful thing, and it is an absolute key to readiness. And so I would say we are blessed at Luke. As Chief Chrestensen said, I had been told the same thing before I got to Luke in the summer of 24. Hey, you're not going to believe the community relations out here. And I kind of thought, yeah, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. And I have seen it. And in my 28 years in the Air Force, I've never seen anything like it. It is unbelievable. And so I'll echo the thanks that the command chief relayed earlier. So thank you all, but very strong.
Awesome. Please.
Yeah, I'd echo that. I'd say the state of the Arizona National Guard is good. Recruiting is high, retention is through the roof, which is fantastic.
Nice.
You know, that speaks to all the work that y'all are doing, supporting our folks, that they are able and willing to stay in and make this a career, which is fantastic. Because when they stay in, then we get the benefit of all those years of service and their experience, and they can help, you know, the younger folks coming up. So I would say, from my perspective, the state of our formation is good, but it can always be better. And the way that we make it better is, as Ajax said, taking care of the families so that they can take care of the service members.
Yeah, I think we're all saying pretty much the same thing. As far as the enlisted corps within the Army and Air Guard, they're resilient. A lot of times I hear things about this generation and what have you, but
Thank you. Yeah.
they are a lot more resilient than you think they are. And they help drive to keep guys like me younger, which is not helping, but they definitely keep us on our toes. And I think we're strong. I think we're better. We've gone through so many deployments and rotations on the Army and Air side, and they come back even more resilient. So I think they're driving where they should be. They're doing their jobs well, and we're pretty proud of them.
Yeah. Well, I love the introduction of the different generations. There was a kind of a famous quote that talks about, you know, how no one expected this generation to be able to do any good, and we were weak and, you know, overly mothered, and you know, there was kind of this expression, and we would run at the first sound of you know, gunpowder going off, and that was said of the greatest generation that fought World War II. So yeah, you can never quite tell what's going to happen with the new generation until they're put into a challenging situation, and then they tend to do exactly what you've talked about: rise up.
Can I pull that thread a little
Please.
bit on the generational
Please.
differences?
Yes, you were
So
next.
we hear it all the time, so we're the old hats up here. I kind of raised the flag on that a little bit. Human beings, we're simple-minded. So at the end of the day, like, regardless of generational differences, I think we all want the same thing, and that's to feel valued and a sense of purpose. So I mean, that's our job as leaders, that's our job as a community, to be engaged, be involved, and show them that sense of purpose. Make your airmen, make your soldiers, make your Marines, make your sailors feel like they are valued, and the rest will take care of itself. And we've seen that in some of the operations that have taken place over the last 6 months. Like, never doubt what the younger generation can do, like, coming up. They're phenomenal, voluntarily raise their hand to serve, and then it's our job to show them, you know, value.
Yeah, love it. Final thoughts, final questions, final things you want the folks to hear.
Yeah, I'll start off the final round, I guess, and I'm going to kind of reinforce something John said, which is, you know, it's never good enough. So even though my answer to the question is that we're good, like, we have great community relations, we have great support to our service members out at Luke Air Force Base, it's never good enough, and it's never something we can stop engaging on. That's why we're here, right? If I just said we're good, I don't have time to drive across town. We're here because it's never good enough. We can never stop working on it. You know, we have a vision. The vision for our wing is to be the world's premier fighter wing. And when we talk about that, it's something that we say, hey, you never get there. You have to keep working at it every single day. And you're never going to be perfect. So we chase perfection so that we catch excellence, Vince Lombardi quote. But we strive for perfection every day. I think that's what this whole group can think of too, as far as your goal, your vision. Let's strive for perfection. Don't stop engaging. Stay connected. Keep the energy going. And it's just an honor. So my final word would just be thank you to all of you for all of your support. Thank you for being here, everything you're doing for our service members and their family, and thanks for letting us be a part of today.
And I'll echo the thank you. And thank you for helping us strive for that perfection. Without you, we can't do it. If we've got an airman in our formation that's struggling with something, that's going to affect his squadron, that's going to affect the group, that's going to affect the wing. And we might not have the ability, we might not have the time, the resources, the knowledge to take care of whatever that airman's problem is, or that soldier's issue is, or what their family issue is. But you do. And when you help, the impact on those families, those airmen, those soldiers, and on national security is immeasurable. So please don't stop doing what you're doing. We need you.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think we're all going to say the same thing, but we appreciate you guys. You have no idea how you impact, especially on the Guard side here in the community. You impact us every day, and I think that also drives our ability to continue to do the mission. And I would put us as the Arizona Guard up against any of the other 54 states and territories. I can tell you that now. Just continue doing what you're doing, and we'll keep doing it.
We won the best warrior competition last year, by the way.
So there's a mantra or phrase that I try to live by and that I try to impress on all the airmen there, and it's your greatest ability is availability. And I always say every event that we have is presence matters. So thank you all for your presence, and thank you for what you all do. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Folks, Dave, John, Jayson, Nathan, our hearts are with you, and we love you guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time today. Folks. Thank you. Thank you.